Hi, I'm Dave from Boyinaband, and I'm starting to think that filming outside was a better idea in my head than it is in reality. There's a movement called Rise Above that a bunch of YouTubers are taking part in at the moment, which is about helping young people to get through the challenges of growing up by teaching them the things school didn't frickin' teach them. Frickin' sun, hang on. Oh god, my glasses are doing that thing where it looks like I'm trying to be a rock star. Oh. Screw this, I'm going back to my natural habitat.
I was asked to teach you about how to deal with stress, but I'm more of an expert in how to not deal with stress, so that's what we're going to look at today. First, I'm going to clarify two concepts that come to mind when talking about stress, which I get to name now. I could name them anything crazy or exciting or... Good stress is the first one. This is what encourages you to be productive. Like thinking back to when you've had an exam for a subject you found relevant to your interests coming up and you were like, I should probably do some work for that, and it results in you doing something. That's a pretty good example of that. Please don't click like. Bad stress, however, is when it takes a negative effect on your mental and physical health. Like thinking back to when you've had an exam for a subject you found relevant to your interests coming up and you were like, This is the type of stress that I'm going to be talking about maximizing today.
Advice number 1, sleeping.
First thing to do when you want to not deal with stress is ensure you completely don't care about your sleep. In fact, a healthy disrespect for yourself in general goes a long way. For example, for me, if I have a piece of work that's stressing me out, I just ensure that I force myself to stay up ridiculously late, way past the point of lucidity and basic sanity to try and finish it. If you want to not deal with stress, it's a terrible idea to sleep and then continue with the work the following day. That just completely removes any chance of stress buildup. Because if you don't get enough, your body builds up sleep debt. One of the best things about sleep debt is when you start getting so stressed about your sleep debt that you can't sleep. It's just this magnificent cycle of insomnia. That should be a metal band.
Advice number 2, diet.
One of the most stressful things in the world is something you'll probably never have to experience, like years of unrelenting torture with no hope of escape. Shut up. But a stressful thing can be eating right. During college, I had a particularly efficient method of retaining stress by eating the same tin of baked beans and little sausages every day for months. Well, it wasn't actually the same tin, that would be magic. This allowed me to maintain an optimum level of intense worry throughout the day. But I found lately I've slipped into eating a more balanced diet, like particularly things that contain a lot of vitamin C, which can really ruin your stress buildup, or eating things that contain vitamin B, like bananas.
Advice number 3, exercise.
Here's where I really come into my own though. Sitting down in front of the same place for hours each day is a fantastic method of ensuring you avoid any of the positive effects physical activity can have on your mental health. You have to be really careful though, because even literally a 10-minute walk or something can start bringing stress levels down, which really sucks if you're trying to break into new levels of frustration and self-loathing. It's particularly bad when you do some sort of exercise with a friend, because sometimes you get tempted to talk about how you're feeling, and having someone there who just listens and perhaps gives you another perspective on your problems can decimate any chance you've got of writhing in existential agony.
Advice number 4, hobbies.
It's a great idea, a terrible idea to try out different things until you find something which relieves stress. A lot of people find having a hobby that's different to what they're usually doing tends to help with that. So I ensured that had never happened by turning my hobby into my work and squeezing any enjoyment I could have had from it right out of my life. If you do find yourself forced to take up a hobby, ensure it's something like pottery so no one likes you, because it's stupid! I tried it once and I caught my streak in the clay and I was just left with this hairy pot. I actually did make a pot once in school and we were supposed to do it in the style of ancient Greece, and this is what I came up with. Pretty sure Aristotle would have looked at that and been like, yep, good pot. Accidentally doing a Wiz Khalifa impression in the process.
Advice number 5, friends.
But probably the most important method of not dealing with stress involves interactions with other people. Whenever I got stressed about something, I always found myself sharing my thoughts with people I trusted, like my mom or one of my friends. It sometimes helped me to clear my head enough to get a wider perspective on things, and that perspective is the worst thing when it comes to keeping stress levels up. The only way more efficient than that to maintain stress would be to become alcoholic, take up smoking, and repeatedly take hard drugs until you're so far into that self-destructive cycle that you're barely sure you're classed as human anymore. Screw it, I can't think of any more synonyms for stress. I'm gonna stop with the subversion for a bit and tell you an honest story. We can carry on being sarcastic later. I've always had some pretty big problems with stress. I had some friends that stressed me out frequently, but I wouldn't let them go because there were some times when I felt my identity was so closely associated with them that I wouldn't consider leaving. And that made me even more stressed than I would have been if I'd left that friend group and had no friends for months. You deserve to be in a network of friends who have a positive impact on you, who listen to you when you ask to talk, just as you listen to them when they ask. By the way, if you have been listening to your friends' problems and you find yourself out of your depth, I can't stress this enough. Don't try to deal with it yourself. Personally, I'd suggest talking to someone trustworthy who has more experience if you're getting stressed about helping a friend who is stressed. Lately, I've had quite a lot of trouble with stress. I felt a lot better when I came to the realization that I had to allow myself downtime, and I logically know to take it easy, but emotionally I haven't yet been able to internalize that. So I'm going to be trying another method called mindfulness meditation, which when I first heard about it sounded like a bunch of spiritual crap, but apparently it's not. It's basically about focusing on what you're doing in the present moment as opposed to letting your mind wander, which I do all the frickin' time. So I'm going to try that for the next month and track my results, and after the month is up, I'm going to post a video talking about whether it's affected me.
Screw it, I'm gonna finish this video off outside. I'm getting my vitamin D, even if it does look like I'm trying to model squint at you the whole time. So sleeping enough, eating well, doing exercise you don't dread, finding a hobby you enjoy, avoiding emotionally draining friendships, and finding someone you can trust to talk to are all things you shouldn't never avoid doing when trying to not deal with stress. And I'll see you at the end of the month after I've tried daily mindfulness to see how that works. Feel free to try it with me. Something like taking 3 deep breaths and really feeling how the air comes in and out of your nose as you do it is supposed to help you relax and concentrate. So you might want to try that instead of the method next time you sit an exam. Also, Rise Above's website has a bunch of useful stuff like this on there, so go check that out. Link in the description. Cheers for watching and have a nice day.